Skyrim is a game full of danger. Bandits lurk in the hills, necromancers conduct dark rituals in hidden caves, and vampires prey on the unsuspecting. But when it comes to the cities, one stands out as a place where lawlessness and violence seem to be woven into the very fabric of its history. Windhelm. Windhelm is the oldest city in Skyrim, a place that has endured for thousands of years. It has seen war, revolution, and tragedy, and through it all, crime has remained a constant presence. From racial tensions and organised crime to the infamous Butcher murders, Windhelm is a city teetering on the edge of chaos. But what exactly is the crime rate in Windhelm? To understand crime in Windhelm, we have to start with the city itself. Windhelm is the capital of Eastmarch, a cold and unwelcoming place that is currently at the heart of Skyrim's civil war. As the stronghold of Ulfric Stormcloak, it is the political centre of the rebellion against the Empire. This means that, even under normal circumstances, Windhelm is already a city divided. Unlike Solitude, which is tightly controlled by the Empire, or Riften, where crime is openly run by the Thieves Guild, Windhelm's crime is more insidious. It is a city where corruption, racial hatred, and lawlessness all intertwine, creating an environment where justice is either slow or non-existent. Windhelm's guards answer directly to Ulfric, and while they maintain order on the surface, they also turn a blind eye to many of the city's problems. This allows crime to fester in the shadows, unchallenged and in some cases, even encouraged. One of the most infamous aspects of Windhelm is the Grey Quarter, a rundown district where the city's Dunmer population is forced to live. After the destruction of Vardenfall, Dunmer refugees fled to Skyrim, and many ended up in Windhelm. But rather than being welcomed, they were segregated, pushed into the worst part of the city, and largely ignored by the authorities. This racial tension isn't just background noise, it directly contributes to the crime. The Dunmer of the Grey Quarter have little protection from the city guard, meaning they have to fend for themselves. This creates an environment where crime isn't just common, it's necessary for survival. Smuggling, theft, gang activity are all part of the life here, but there is no other option. To make matters even worse, Windhelm's Nords, especially those who support the Stormcloaks, openly despise the Dunmer. They are routinely harassed, refuse service, and sometimes even attacked in the streets. If a Dunmer is the victim of a crime, the guards are unlikely to do anything about it. This leads to a cycle where crime flourishes because there is no real incentive for law enforcement to step in. While Riften is well known as the home of the Thieves Guild, Windhelm has its own crime underbelly, one that is just as dangerous but far less centralised. Two of the most powerful families in the city, the Shattered Shields and the Blackbriars, both have deep ties to organised crime. The Shattered Shields are a wealthy merchant family that owns much of the city's shipping industry. On the surface, they appear to be law-abiding citizens, but their wealth is tied to some very shady dealings. Their involvement in the illegal skooma trade and their connections to pirates suggest that their business isn't as legitimate as they'd like people to believe. Then there's the Blackbriars. While they primarily operate out of Riften, their influence extends to Windhelm, where they have agents running various illicit activities. Maven Blackbriar's reach is long, and Windhelm provides another market for her family's smuggling operations. The guards do little to intervene, either because they are paid off or simply have bigger concerns. In short, Windhelm doesn't have a single dominant crime syndicate. It has multiple factions vying for power, creating a violent and unstable underworld. Perhaps the most infamous crime in Windhelm's history is the case of the Butcher, a serial killer who stalks the streets, preying on young women and leaving behind gruesome crime scenes. When the Dragonborn arrives in Windhelm, the city is already in a state of paranoia. Women are afraid to walk alone at night, and the guards are seemingly powerless to stop the killings. This isn't just a random event. It highlights how broken Windhelm's justice system really is. Despite multiple murders, the guards have failed to catch the culprit. In fact, they arrest the wrong person, showing just how little effort they've actually put into solving the case. If not for the Dragonborn's intervention, the Butcher might never have been stopped. This is a terrifying glimpse into the reality of Windhelm's crime problem. Even when people are being murdered in their own homes, the city's leaders seem incapable or unwilling to do anything about it. Windhelm's crime rate isn't just about the criminals. It's also about the lack of a functioning justice system. Unlike Solitude, where the guards actively try to maintain order, Windhelm's law enforcement is somewhat compromised. The guards are deeply loyal to Ulfric Stormcloak, and their focus is on the civil war rather than the safety of the people. Many of them share the same racial prejudices as the city's Nords, meaning they are far less likely to help the Dunmer or the Argonian citizens. Instead of being impartial enforcers of the law, they are essentially Ulfric's personal army. This tends to create a system where crime isn't just tolerated, it's institutionalized. If you're a Nord and support Ulfric, you'll likely never face real consequences for your actions. But if you're an outsider, you're basically on your own. Windhelm's architecture and layout tells a story of division and control. The city is both cold, literally and figuratively. A harsh stone maze locked in a permanent winter. Its narrow alleys and towering walls create a sense of isolation, where crimes can happen out of sight and out of mind. Unlike the bustling openness of Whiterun, or the vertical sprawl of Markarth, Windhelm is closed in. The lack of community space discourages social cohesion, and its fractured layout reinforces the divide between the privileged and the oppressed. More than just physical design, Windhelm's culture also plays a key role in fostering crime. Its emphasis on Nord supremacy and warrior values leaves little room for compassion or diplomacy. Justice is often tied to strength and status, not fairness or due process. This creates a social order where intimidation and force are more effective than law and negotiation. In such an environment, it's no surprise that people turn to crime, not just for survival, but as a way to gain power or security. When the system offers no support, shadow networks emerge to fill the void. Crime in Windhelm isn't just a symptom of dysfunction, it's the city's unofficial safety net. Windhelm doesn't just ignore its problems, it reinforces them. The power structures in place are designed to protect those at the top, while leaving the rest to fend for themselves. Guards protect Ulfric's image, not the people. Business elites like the Shattered Shields thrive, while the Grey Quarter deteriorates. In Windhelm, justice isn't blind, it's selective. And when fairness is selective, desperation grows. Crime becomes less of a choice and more of a necessity. So when we talk about Windhelm's crime rate, we're not just counting incidences, we're counting symptoms of a deeply broken system. So if we had to put a number on it, just how bad is Windhelm's crime rate? While Skyrim doesn't provide official statistics, we can make an educated guess based on what we observe in the game. First, let's consider the factors that drive crime. Windhelm has all the conditions of a high crime city: political instability, racial tensions, weak law enforcement, and an economy that leaves many struggling to survive. The Grey Quarter alone suggests a crime rate that could rival or surpass Riften's, given that the city guard largely ignores its problems. Then there's the nature of crimes. Unlike Riften, where corruption is an open secret, Windhelm's crimes are more violent and chaotic. Racially motivated attacks happen regularly. Illegal smuggling thrives in the docks, and at one point, a serial killer roamed the streets unchecked. If we assume crime rates comparable to real-world historical cities with similar conditions, such as a 15th century medieval port town, Windhelm could have an estimated crime rate of 30 to 40%, meaning just under half of the population engages in criminal activity in some capacity. This would make Windhelm one of the most dangerous places in Skyrim, a city where the rule of law is more of a suggestion than a reality. Crime here isn't just a background noise, it defines the city itself. Windhelm is a city where crime isn't just present, it's part of the city's identity. From the lawless Grey Quarter and the corruption of the Shattered Shields to the terrifying murders of the Butcher, Windhelm is a place where danger lurks around every corner. And yet, it still remains one of the most important cities in Skyrim, a place of history, power, and rebellion. But underneath all that, it is also a city in decay, where the weak suffer and the strong rule unchecked.